In the year of 2021 of March, the ending of the very first episode of Invincible grabbed me by the nuts and twisted ever so slightly, just to get and grab my full attention. And from that point on, I was fully invested. In terms of animated shows, I was heavily anticipating the following season of this, along with Arcane, which also dropped later in the same year. Those felt like the standards for completely different reasons, which is something I'm not gonna touch or else I'll be here all day. When season 2 of Invincible came along, the main thing that had the community in an uproar was the mid-season break. I mean, why the hell would a show with an 8-episode season possibly need a mid-season break? It's not like Invincible was doing 24 episodes a season. It was only 8. So why the need for a mid-season break? I'm not gonna lie, that shit really killed a lot of the hype, especially considering that season 2 was more of a build-up season. But despite all of that, I still enjoy the season. But like many others, I hated the fact that there was a mid-season break. I'd rather wait longer for a show to drop and watch it weekly, opposed to waiting during a mid-season break. God, I keep saying mid-season break. Honestly, the best thing that happened because of that mid-season break was that I was able to read the comics in 1 week. And holy f***, what a read it was. You see, while everyone is out here complaining about animation and discussing why Mark is in the right, or why Cecil is in the right, I'm here dying to see Robot's arc develop and be adapted. Unfortunately, that is years removed from now. Before I go back into the animation discussion though, something that's been an issue from all the way back in season 1, because that seems to be the biggest critique of the show. But I'm gonna touch this Mark and Cecil thing first. If I'm Cecil, I'm doing the same exact thing. If I'm Mark, I'm doing the same exact thing. Trust me, it's okay to see both sides of the argument. You don't only have to stick to one side. We have entered a room that's filled with a lot of gray area. Now, to be fair to Cecil, if Mark turned out to be anything like Big Omni, he'd be the #1 hero. Cecil will do things he doesn't necessarily like, but none of that shit matters because at the end of the day, he is just trying to keep the planet safe. So yes, from time to time he will use underhanded tactics. Or rather, things that are morally questionable. But if I'm to truly immerse myself in this show, if I'm a human living on Earth, I would want Cecil to do the dirty work, so that me and my family could stay safe. That includes making sure that Mark is under his control so that he doesn't become a threat that Earth is unable to handle. But despite expecting trust, Cecil's actions prove it's only a one-lane street with him, considering that he'd do something as far as invading Mark's body with a foreign object, just to make sure that he's kept in check. And you know what? I completely get it. He has to be paranoid and be prepared for the worst. Now, if I'm Mark, I would be completely pissed off to find out that Cecil would betray my trust. You end up using Sinclair, who was about to slice up my best friend. You also subjected me to all of that damn pain. And you still believe that I'm a possible threat after having my ass beat all around the world by my father? Yeah, I'm sorry, but if I'm Mark, it's definitely f*** you. Hey, this is post-editing me here, and I just gotta say, after watching episode 4, if I'm Mark, I would weekly go to the Pentagon just to f*** with Cecil. Let me build up a tolerance to that shit you got going on, and I'ma just keep coming back and making you waste millions upon millions of dollars. Who is gonna stop me? Which is another thing. Cecil, you obviously know you can't stop the kid, so why would you keep pissing him off? It's not the smartest thing to do, man. I give you a lot of credit, but come on. Especially considering that he's his father's son. I mean, if I really want to sit here and psychoanalyze Cecil, he's pretty damn arrogant. If you claim that Mark is this threat, why on God's green earth would you get all spicy with him, telling him never to threaten you again? Like, if I'm the strongest being on the planet and you cause me a shit ton of physical pain, why would you keep poking the bear? Bro, just take your L and go back to the agency. That's all I gotta say. Some would say Mark was being stupid and immature for not seeing the bigger picture, which seems like it would be pretty difficult if my head feels like it's about to explode. The crazy thing is that even though Mark forced Cecil's hand to do this, imagine Mark said, okay, you know what, Cecil, yeah, let me go home. Let me go home, go to bed, and rub one out so I can relax. Thank you, Cecil. Thank you for making things so much more clear for me. Is that what you wanted, Cecil? Are you really gonna be able to sleep at night safely, knowing that you pissed him off? Sure, Mark didn't have to come at Cecil all hostile, and yeah, Cecil didn't have to escalate the situation. Both sides acted accordingly. Personally, at this point of the story, I enjoy Cecil's character more because of his complexity with knowing he has to do shit he doesn't necessarily agree with, but he does it if it means it makes the world a safer place from threats. And throw in the fact that he won't hesitate to make the difficult decision, that all makes him a delightful character to watch. Excluding the comics from the ending of the first season, he was one of my favorites, and you get a gist of the kind of character he is after a short exchange between him and Debbie.
Call it off! Mark's in there!
I can't do that, Debbie.
Why not?
Because I can't. He shrugged off everything I've thrown at him, and now I don't know if Mark is with his father or against him.
This is why I have always hated you.
That's why I hate me too.
But with the second episode of this third season, you understand him perfectly. But man, that robot arc is gonna slap harder than the bottom of a Caribbean mother's sandal after you backtalk her with some sass. The discussion that the characters have created is really dope, and without giving any comic spoilers, it's only gonna keep getting better in future seasons. For all of that, I'm staying on the side of the fence kinda talk, and just really enjoy the conflict this show has created. Of course, I'm only really talking about the people who says I side with Mark or I side with Cecil and they're taking it to the heart. Some of y'all get really pissed off over fiction. Also, for people who are saying that Cecil is an asshole and fuck him and are actually fans of Batman, shut the hell up. Y'all like it when Batman has contingencies upon contingencies, but not when Cecil does? If y'all don't fuck out of here. Batman gets to do it and it's smart and cool, and he gets to demonstrate how he's always several moves ahead and can take down anyone because his superpower isn't money, but instead it's his unparalleled plot armor. But when Cecil's on that same type of timing, he's an asshole. Okay, I got it. My only issue with Cecil is that man keeps getting choked from Nolan to Mark. Yo, I know that neck is perpetually sore. I know for a fact that man gotta drink all of his food straight out of a blender. Straight smoothies, applesauce, and puree for that man. But that's the price you pay for messing with Viltrumites. But you know, Cecil is a smart guy. Paranoid, yes, but he's also smart. He would never do something extremely stupid, right? And anyway, real quick because I didn't really see people bring this up, but look at this right here.
We're done! And if you ever come near my family again, I will kill you. I told Cecil if he goes near you, or Oliver, or anyone else I care about, I kill him.
Mark only mentioned his family when he was talking to Cecil, but of course he gotta tag on the bit about and anyone else I care about, just to let Eve know what's up. Mark, I see that play you're running from a mile away. Good shit though. Now for the animation talk. Shit. At this point, it is what it is. You know what to expect. I'm not a person who needs the smoothest animation with flash and sauce splashed all over the screen for every fight and big moment. But don't get me wrong, it would be nice if the animation was better for this show. But it just isn't a necessity for me to continue enjoying the show. Going forward, I'm not expecting Arcane or Castlevania levels of animation. At this point, I just want to see how the comic arcs are going to be adapted, with the voice acting for those top tier moments. Yes, if Invincible had animation akin to the Adam Eve special or the season 2 teaser, there would be a lot less complaints, but reality is often disappointing. Kinda like when you're at work or at school and the whole day you have your mind set on food you have at home, only to finally get home and find out that food is no longer there because someone ate it. If you're only watching Invincible for fights, I don't like being this guy, I really don't. But there are a lot of better options out there for you, so that your eyes can bust loads from the eye candy displayed on your screen. So do yourself a favor and save yourself some time. But I also know that that piece of advice is gonna fall on deaf ears because let's face it, people are gonna hate watch regardless. I understand people wishing it was better so that it could enhance the watching experience, because the writing for the show is pretty good. In a perfect world, the animation would match the writing, but again, perfect worlds only exist in dreams. So wake up or realize that these constant complaints aren't gonna change a thing. But hey, that's just the pessimism in me. Now, slight comic spoilers, but hell, if you really want to have some Invincible discourse, let's discuss why Eve isn't nearly utilized as much as she should be. Eve is like having Shaq in his prime, but not giving him the rock enough or running enough plays for him when he's an absolute force of nature and is one of the most dominant players of all time. Eve is one of my favorite characters in the comics, but I'd be lying to say that she was done justice. Something that might be fixed in the show, yeah, but I'm not gonna be holding my breath. You see, I attribute this to two reasons. One being that the issue with overpowered characters like Eve is that it's difficult to keep them around without creating a bunch of illogical decisions and plot holes. It's not like Eve is limitless and can only be 100% of the time, but it opens the door for a lot of "couldn't Eve just do this?" or "couldn't Eve just do that?" situations, where you know their power is dope and has near limitless capabilities, but it can't be displayed nearly as much as you'd like, because it'll have readers and viewers asking more and more questions about the character's powers. Eve is the type of character that you have to be pretty smart when including her into fights, because when she's handled poorly, it makes her look way weaker than she really is, and when you include her, you run the risk of lowering the stakes. I'm not even sure if I'm making sense at this point, but I hope someone out there understood what I'm trying to convey. God, the internet is gonna be an unbearable place in a few years with this show. As for my second reason, the story becomes really Mark heavy as the story goes on. I mean, he is the main character, so yeah, I get that, duh. But rather than Eve serving as a pivotal piece in the story, she remains more as a complementary side piece than a fully realized character outside of Mark. Now, you might ask, if you feel that way, then how can she be one of your favorite characters in the comics? Well, despite Eve being amazing as that complementary side piece, she feels so much more than that, with even more potential that's hidden behind an infinite lunar eclipse that is Mark and all the Viltrumite business that gets pushed to the forefront. But as I've stated earlier, maybe the show will be able to fix these things. I mean, I don't expect them to fix everything, but god damn it, at least give Eve some justice. She's way too dope to be sidelined as much as she was. Now for this last piece, something that I find kind of funny, or maybe because I just lived under a rock, but why are people having issues with all of these celebrities voicing characters? Let me rephrase that. People having issues with celebrities voicing side characters. I honestly don't see the problem with this. I don't think any of the side characters' voice acting has been ass enough for me to the point that I have to say, damn, these celebrities voicing these characters suck. Also, I can't prove that getting these celebrities is why the animation hasn't improved, because they gotta allocate those funds to the voice actors. But if that's the case, okay, I understand that. cut back on celebrity voice actors so that there's more of a budget for the animation. Okay, I got you. But performance-wise, I don't see the issue. Maybe it's something that I'm just too stupid to understand, which can very well be the case. I realize that it sounds like I'm caping for Invincible a lot, and yeah, I'm writing, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. But these issues that have these people online complaining, you're still here watching after season 1. And I'm not talking about the people who critique without being an idiot or an asshole. I only speak for myself. But just like how I'll take a mediocre plot with amazing characters, I'll take mediocre animation with a dope story. Not everything is gonna be arcane, and that's fine. Also, if animation is that much of an issue, just read the comics with some background music and use your imagination. You already know what the voice actors sound like, so just go off of that when you're reading. Easy life hack. You're welcome. Also, they're probably saving some budget for the season finale when the big C drops. Or hey man, maybe I'm just delusional. After all, I am a Hunter x Hunter fan, so I have nothing but patience and cope. But regardless, if the show is anything like the comics, I will continue to enjoy it nonetheless. Okay, now I could finally get off of my knees. Oof, need to invest in some knee pads.